Hello and welcome. This is the first video in a series of videos where we dive into a tool called Motec i2 and use it to understand car behavior in Assetto Corsa Competizione. We'll be looking at the telemetry of the car and work our way towards becoming a better driver and a better engineer. We're going to start with what is Motec, how to install it, how to set up ACC, and look at a few basic things within Motec itself. Alright, so the first thing we want to do to start looking at the telemetry for the car is download Motec. That is easily found. I'll put the link in the description below, but basically if you Google or in my case DuckDuckGo search Motec i2, it should be pretty much the first result. The one we're going to download here is this i2 Pro. It's a completely free software, so we will download that. Once that downloads, all we simply got to do is open it and install Motec. Now I already have it installed, so I'm not going to go through this process, but it's a pretty much next sort of thing. We don't want to show the README file, or at least I don't, so I can uncheck that and hit finish. Now we should have Motec installed, so we can go to, oh, here it is right at the top here, Motec i2 Pro 1.1, and allow access. And your screen may look a little different from me because I've already set this up, but we'll go through the setup here shortly. Okay, so now that we have Motec installed, there's something we have to do in ACC to keep the telemetry file. So what we're going to do for that is pretty simple. We're just going to go into, in this case, a single player game. Doesn't matter what you pick here, so I'm just going to hit start. Good thing this has nice load times here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to drive. I'm sorry. We're going to go back to our garage. In our setup, in our current setup, what we have to do is change our telemetry laps. So at minimum, to keep any lap at all, we need it to be at least 1. In reality, I always set mine to 99 just so it keeps literally everything for the session. I don't think I'll be doing 99 laps, but I guess you never know. So once this is set to anything other than 0, you're going to go back and you're going to do a lap or 2. Okay, so once we have some laps in, or a lap or anything like that, it should have generated a file, so you can go ahead and quit. And then feel free to quit the game if you like, although you do not have to. One thing to note, that every time you go back to the garage, it will generate a new telemetry file. So I'll show you what that looks like, but you may have several files in your folder. So now that you have a session or a lap or something where you want to analyze the telemetry, you should see files in your Documents Assetto Corsa Competizione Motec folder. This should have stuff in it. Now I have lots because I've been doing it for a while, but for you, you may just have 1 or 2 things in here. Okay, so now we have telemetry files from ACC and Motec installed. The next thing that we have to do is actually set up Motec to read those telemetry files. And to do that, we're going to come up here and we're going to go to Workspace and open a workspace. So ACC comes with a workspace that analyzes all the data for you by default, and we have to import that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to import and we're going to navigate to our ACC folder. It's the same place where the telemetry files are stored. So that is Documents, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Motec, and there should be a folder in here called Workspaces. And then within that, there's a base ACC. And we're going to open up this workspace file and hit open. That will show up as base ACC. Now I have 2 because, again, I've been using this before. And we're just going to make sure that base ACC is selected and hit OK. Now mine says it's already open, but yours should now look like this, which has, you know, a bunch of tabs at the top for all sorts of different things that we might want to look at, but there's no data. So in order to get the data in here, on the left here, we have this little data button. So if you click that, there's a little tiny folder here that says open the log file. And the log file is the telemetry files that we were looking at earlier. So for us, that's in our documents Assetto Corsa Competizione Motec. And here we can see all of the log files that we have available to us. So all we have to do is pick one. I usually like to pick the most recent one of the track that I'm looking at, because like I said earlier, it will make a new file every time you return to the garage. So typically the most recent one is the one you want. So we just click one we want and we hit open. So once that opens, you should see lots of data here. Here we can see the speed, the RPM, gear, brake, throttle, as well as there's several tabs up here which change the data displayed below. So in the next video, we're going to start to dive into what all these lines actually mean, as well as how you can change your views to look at things that you might want to look out for. I have a couple custom views that I use that we will go through just to analyze some of my own stuff, but you'll be able to customize your view to however you like it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if there's something you want me to cover, and don't forget to like and subscribe.